Squid and Octo kids, welcome to It's a Splat Theory. I'm your host, Kat, and today I want to do a deep dive into Splatfest. What they are, what they mean to inklings and octolings, and how they happen. So let's super jump right into it. First, I want to look at what a Splatfest is to the inklings and octolings, what it means, and how it comes about from their point of view. So, Splatfest is a series of turf wars based on a question. Generally, like, which of these 2 or 3 options do you think is better, or which would you choose, or which is the best in a specific scenario, and many other variations of that. It generally lasts a couple of days, at least for us. I'm not entirely sure if it's that long in the Splatoon universe, since the whole Splatfest takes place at night, and it never changes to daytime, and there's not a daytime cycle, but that's a video for another day. And once the Splatfest is over, they tally all the results, which are the votes and the clout won and all that stuff. And whoever wins in the most categories wins the Splatfest and is legally the best or right choice. That's right, legally. No arguments, can't have a different opinion. But what I really want to focus on is the beginning of a Splatfest. So let's get into that. So it starts with one of the idols saying there is big news, and the other, or one of the others, asks what it is. And the first one says it's a Splatfest, and the screen behind them, or next to them, depending on the game, gets staticky and shows a shaky image of a fax machine. One in a dimly lit space with candles around it. Then the idols go back and forth asking about the theme and deciding who will look. Then a glowing piece of paper pops out of the fax machine and they reveal what the theme is. The whole thing raises a couple of questions. Like, why does a fax machine decide what the Splatfest is? Why do inklings and octolings really care about this fax machine? How is a 12,000-year-old fax machine still working? And maybe most importantly, what is sending the themes over to the fax machine? Because it doesn't come up with the themes on its own. Well, the first 2 are actually answered by the same thing, so we'll start with that. And for that, we need to look at Sunken Scroll 24 from the first Splatoon. Why are we here? For what purpose do we exist? We must not dwell on these questions. We can merely trust in the will of the universe and spend our days and nights in harmony with the world, celebrating this festival called life. And as you can see, in the picture for the Sunken Scroll, the fax machine is like in a shrine, and in the first Splatoon, when the Squid sisters announced the Splatfest, they said it was a message from on high. The inklings, as well as octolings, see this as something religious, and that the Splatfest themes come from their gods, or something of that sort. So that explains why they care so much about it, and they let it choose the Splatfest theme. Secondly, we are going to skip the third question, for now, since parts of the answer to the last question may help to answer it. So the question is, what is sending the Splatfest themes to the fax machine? The inklings, as discussed, think it's from on high. But we all know that that can't be the case, since it's a fax machine. But that begs the question, what is sending it? Well, the most commonly believed answer is that it's old transmissions from humans, sent into space, then thousands of years bounced off of a satellite and reflected towards Earth, to then be received by the fax machine. But there's one detail that can change everything, and that detail comes from Splatoon 3's Hero Mode. You see, like the Octo expansion, Splatoon 3 has a human-made AI or machine, named Orca, and Orca was made to preserve and record humans' knowledge. and also have seemed to write the alternologues. But what's important is that Orca's starting sound is suspiciously similar to the sound the fax machine makes when it receives a Splatfest theme. So it is my thought that Orca, trying to keep humanity's culture alive, sends the Splatfest theme to the fax machine, and that's how it gets it. And I know you're probably asking what I meant when I said that I think part of this explains why a 12,000 fax machine still works. Well, since Orca is able to send a fax and connect the fax machine, it might mean that the fax machine was in Alterna before. And it actually does make some sense, because the squids and octopi that became inklings and octolings came from Alterna, and so that could explain where they found it. And if the fax machine was from Alterna, some of the scientists could have upgraded it, so it would last even longer. Or you could always say that maybe the fax machine isn't actually a fax machine, but is part of Orca. That's all for today. If you enjoyed the video, super jump over to that like button, splat the subscribe, and ring the notification bell. And as always, stay fresh, stay off the hook, stay cool, and catch ya later, Squid and Octo kids.